One glass of wine, I'm already a bitch.
I think you're that without the wine.
I hate you. He's just a boy. She's just a girl. Can I make it any more obvious? That's right. The amount of angst and insecurity, drama, and clear lack of communications in this book that we're talking about this week, the only soundtrack it could have would be by Avril Lavigne. And I hope when the movie comes out, because I 100% think there's going to be a movie for this, Avril is all over that soundtrack. This book gives me such young, angsty vibes. I can't. It's just hot people betraying each other.
Yeah.
And I just need to see that in real life. Like I want this. This is a hot take. I actually think the movie might be better than the book if they make a movie.
I think depending on who they pick to play the characters, I could for sure seeing it being better.
Hot people only.
Yeah. So welcome to another episode of He's Just the Plot, a podcast about book boys and wondering, are they okay?
Are they?
Probably not.
Okay.
Here we analyze our book boyfriends and apply counseling theories and techniques we would use if they were our clients, because guys aren't the only people who ask, does that feel good?
No, I ask that too. When you make a choice, does that feel good? I think that's a fair question. I'm Nora, current counseling student, and if I were awakened and had a magical gift bestowed on me, I would want it to be the ability to understand and communicate in any language. And yes, I stole that from my boyfriend, who is also the producer of this podcast.
Honestly, that's a good one.
That's so, that's
I would have never thought about that.
same. I felt so, when he said that in the car to me one day, I was like, oh, I'm stupid. Why couldn't I think of that?
I don't know. Mine feels stupid.
No, I want to hear yours now.
So I'm Alyssa. I'm also a current counseling student as well. And I think a magical gift that I would want if I were to ever get them is being able to read people's minds and intentions. Yeah. I just like to know, I'm such a people watcher where I'm like, I just want to know what you're thinking as you're walking through HEB right now.
That's absolutely why you're a counselor. 100%.
Yeah, for
You're like,
sure.
oh, but that's actually not what you're thinking right now. So let's just be honest.
Actually, you're wrong. Tell me the truth.
I can read it.
I can read it. Your intentions are not pure. Let's talk about it.
Speaking of things we want to talk about today, I hope we enticed you with all of the information we've given so far. But if you haven't guessed, the book we're talking about today is Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider from the Fire and Metal duology. And this is book 1.
Thank goodness it's a duology.
I am here for the duologies that are
love
taking
duologies.
over. A 1-2 punch, knock me out.
Literally.
Knock me out. But before we go even farther into this book, we do have to say spoilers.
Yes.
Big spoilers. I'm not even we're not even gonna pretend. We're gonna give away some big major plot points. So if you want to read this book, if you were like, wow, that sounds really interesting, and I want to read this before they talk about it and listen to what they have to say, see you when you finish it.
Listen when you're done.
We will still be here. Come back. That being said, thoughts and prayers to the ones who haven't read it.
Literally.
Okay, so like most tropes in any fantasy novel, no one likes the lead female character named Bryn. Caveat, might have a change of name later, but for now, Bryn. With the exception of 2 guys, big shocker, she only has 2 male friends who are both very popular and very powerful, while she is not. She is poor and everyone hates her. So one of her best friends and her love interest is the son of the leader of Alaha. Alaha is the mythical place that is not on land. It's basically a boatyard. They live in an impoverished boatyard. That is until another guy shows up claiming to be the love of Bryn's life. Introducing Acker, the epitome of a rich fuckboy.
Yeah. But he's hot.
Oh, he's so hot.
He's so hot.
He's so hot. From the nose ring to the six pack, this prince of the enemy kingdom has some secrets of his own. So, what will all of these young, hot, powerful idiots do? Find out in this book talk sensation, Metal Slinger. Okay, so the male lead, Acker, who I also wrote, someone who mews unironically.
When I read that, I laughed out loud.
He's 20, so some grace. Some grace. He's only 20. Normally throughout the week, Alyssa and I will talk about where we are in each book we're doing. Mm-hmm. We did not do this book at all. Like, I finished it way before, and we just didn't see each other by the time she was in it. So I am dying to know. Like, give me your impressions. I want to hear it.
I literally had to reread the last like handful of chapters. I was in utter shock. At the end of it, I was like, what the fuck did I read?
Yeah. Same.
I'm just like, I was speechless. And I feel like I haven't read a book with that type of twist at the end in a really long time. I finished it earlier this morning, and I've been thinking about it all day. Like, all day. It's all that's been running through my mind.
One of my points is literally, did the author gaslight me the entire time?
No, literally.
And yes,
she did.
She did.
I fell for it.
100. Hook, line, and sinker. And I was like, what?
The betrayal in that book, I was just like, it hurt my own heart.
Like, that's a big betrayal.
And not even just to like one person, but it was to like also Messer, their best friend, who was like kept in the dark.
Yeah.
But mainly Acker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. That is one of my points, is the betrayal. I'm going to say the high point of the book for me, though, I'm going to be so real with you right now. I have to like write this down. The high point of the book for me was the council room glass scene where she astro projects to him and they engage in some very voyeuristic behavior. Very steamy. I thought that was hot. But if the sex scene is the high point in the book for you, that's probably a problem with the book. I can admit that.
Yeah. It was a good scene, though.
It was hot.
It was really hot.
Like, I was like, oh.
I also liked this, which I don't even know what it is now, but the slow burn throughout the book and just like the build of tension.
So
but
much
then
tension.
For it to just turn around at the end, I was like, what the fuck was the point?
And that's why there's book 2 that's not out.
Yeah, which is also frustrating.
Very, very, yeah, no. I was also like, how do you rebuild from that? Right? How do you rebuild from that? So that's one of the things we're going to talk about too. How do you rebuild from betrayal? Mm-hmm. We're going to use acceptance and commitment therapy approach because both of us practice ACT in general. So immediately I was like, ACT, for the love of God, please.
I'm like, they're going to have to pay for Acker's therapy.
Okay, but they
all need therapy.
They're all problematic. Like, no one in here was like making good choices for the benefit of the group consistently.
Yeah.
They were all sneaky little sneaks. Except maybe because I don't know enough about her, Acker's former fiance, which was the low point in the book for me.
Yeah.
Where he humiliated his current fiance publicly to prove a point about Bryn / Jovi, who I did look up if she had dissociative personality disorder because it was, or dissociative identity personality disorder, because I was like, what is happening? And it seems like when she was Jovi, she was like all into Acker, but when she's Bryn, she's all into Alaha.
It's like very much like a switch would flip.
Yeah. And I think that was definitely like her coping skills, and she doesn't quite meet the criteria for a diagnosis because I do think she has control over it, which is one of the biggest things is you don't necessarily have control and you kind of black out when you're doing this. But like, oh my gosh, crazy. So I do want to talk acceptance and commitment therapy just to kind of give an overview for our listeners. Acceptance and commitment therapy is a form of psychotherapy that helps individuals develop psychological flexibility, which is the ability to stay present, open up to experiences, and take committed actions aligned with a person's values, even in the presence of difficult thoughts and emotions, which were all over the place here. All over. So many difficult thoughts, mostly coming from me. So many difficult emotions also coming from me.
With ACT, there's 6 core processes. And so our first one is cognitive diffusion, which is learning to step back from thoughts rather than getting caught up in them. And then the second one is acceptance, so allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go without struggling with them. I think that's one of the hardest ones that I have a hard time with is acceptance, personally.
Yeah, I think all of these characters, I think Acker will struggle with that the most.
For sure. And then the third one is present moment awareness, so being mindful and fully engaged in the here and now. And then number 4 is self as context, so seeing oneself as more than just one's thoughts, feelings, and or roles. And then number 5 is values, so clarifying what truly matters to the individual. And then 6 is committed action, so taking meaningful steps through guided by values, not just by avoidance of the discomfort. So the goal with ACT is to not eliminate difficult feelings, but to change the relationship with them so that you don't interfere with living a fulfillment life.
And I think why we chose to use ACT with Acker is because he definitely is going to have a lot of negative feelings that he's going to need to process, and he's not going to be able to get rid of them. And I think it's important for him to not get rid of them completely.
Yeah.
And use them as a learning experience, and ACT will allow him to do that. So even as I'm kind of imagining Acker as the client here, it is very much like after these books have happened, or after having read this book. So all of this has already happened, and how do we move forward? ACT can be used to treat a lot of different issues from anxiety, depression, chronic pain, substance use, and more. It integrates mindfulness and behavior change strategies, and it's a really flexible and experiential approach, which I think is good for all of these characters because they're all over the place. Like they are all like 20, 22, 18. Once again, I don't understand why in fantasy books the age range is either I'm 20 or I'm 457 years old. Like, can someone just be middle-aged? Can someone just have life experiences that didn't take place in 12,000 BC or 2 days ago? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. My understanding was Kai's father is like hundreds of years old, right?
Yes. And so is Acker's.
Yes.
And so is Jovi/Bryn's mom.
Yeah.
They're all like hundreds of years old, and they're all lying to their kids. And you would think with that many years of experience, you would think. But not what we got. So today we're going to be talking about gaslighting.
There was a lot of it.
Betrayal.
The entire book.
And protecting your peace, which is what you need to do after reading this book.
I think I'm still processing what happened in the book.
Yeah, which brings us to our first topic. Did this author gaslight me the entire time?
I felt lied to at the end. Like I had to reread.
There were moments in the book where I was like, this feels off. Like this shift, like something's doesn't add up. And at the end, all of that makes sense. Like when Acker's sister kept having to self-isolate to deal with she can read people's auras. And every time she was around Jovi/Bryn was like the girl in Alaha. Turns out her real name's Jovi, and she's the princess of another kingdom who was abducted and raised in Alaha. And Acker comes to find her. Turns out they're fated mates, which crazy.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah. And then Acker's like, no, fated mates are the best, even though all the literature he's reading is like, yeah, they hate each other. It's very bad. Don't do it. And he's like, no, we're going to make it work.
I'm in love with you.
I'm so in love. And then his best friend is like, I don't know, she seems weird.
Yeah.
She was in love with like
Other
Alaha, the president, king of Alaha's son, and was about to get married to him. So maybe we should pump the brakes there, friend. And Acker was like, absolutely not. And then his sister was like, I can't be around her because her aura is very strong and like yellow, which means like she's lying about something. But then turns out the sister's also lying about things. So everyone was lying. I think this is a direct result of the impact Sarah J. Maas has had on the fantasy world. And what I love a good twist at the end, but what I didn't like about this is it didn't make sense.
No.
Because this is a literary critique. This isn't a counseling critique, but the narration was done from Jovi's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So why would Jovi not know that she's lying the entire time? Right? Like, why wouldn't we be in on that? And that was my like literary hesitation with this, and why, like, great twist at the end.
It was great.
It was so good, but also like
I hated it.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't make sense. I see what you're trying to do. I love that.
I don't think it was well executed.
Yeah, it wasn't well executed, but oh my gosh, did it make me want to read the second one.
I literally had to look up when she's coming out with the second one because I was like, there's no way I can wait this long.
When is she coming out with the
I
second
have no clue. It didn't say a date.
Oh, okay, cool. This is
check.
just like ACOTAR's 6th book all over again.
Dude, if we can't even talk about that book. I just want to get Azriel's point of view. That's all I care about.
I hear you. I see you. I'm clearly a Cassian girl. I think Azriel and Acker have a lot in common in that they both feel entitled to something and they don't understand why, and they don't take time to self-reflect. And I think if Acker had self-reflected, he would have not allowed such a big betrayal to happen to him. So basically, what happens if your partner gaslights you the entire time? Can you come back from that? That's a counseling question. Can you come back from that?
I love the answer. It depends.
It depends. So I would say with these two, a huge rupture has occurred, right? Because Jovi, now going by Bryn, basically had a full-on unspoken agenda the entire relationship. And so the foundation of their relationship, which should have been built on trust and understanding and getting to know someone, was built on lies.
And manipulation.
And so if I were to apply ACT in a couple's place, or like in couples counseling, I think it would be starting with, as a couple, what do you value? Because Acker really valued the relationship, the idea of like love and protection and leadership and safety.
Yeah.
What he didn't recognize is Jovi really values freedom and independence. And she couldn't have that with Acker. And she's looking at this bigger picture of like, Acker, your kingdom is suppressing everyone else. Like, your dad sucks and I'm gonna fight him. So just starting off with that honest conversation of, your dad sucks and I want to be free. And Acker being like, no, I love my dad and I want to protect you at all costs and all times and have you in my life 24/7.
Yeah. I thought he was really protective fairly quick in the book. I think like when she needed to use the restroom when they were in the forest and she was like, I'm just going to be a couple minutes. He was like, well, let me go with you. And I was like, dude,
chill.
Yeah.
Although literally, it did turn out to be.
It was really a good idea that he did go. but then chill. It was also, I think when she was starting to discover her powers and he was like, you need to learn to control it because it looks like I can't control you. And she was like, you can't.
Facts.
She was like, you don't control me.
When he finally got her through the forest and into that like camp, she like barged in to tell him something, and he was like, you can't talk to me that way in front of my men. I was like, she can talk to you however she wants. Yeah, like, but also I think, interestingly enough, Bryn is very perceptive, and she saw how Acker wanted her to behave, and she purposely integrated herself into his life and changed her behaviors and used his own wishes against him to like build that trust. And that's where the betrayal is so hard, because can you trust your partner who has manipulated you so much? And I think then that goes into using ACT to set a boundary of, are we making choices? We're at a choice point, and I'll talk about that later, but we're at a choice point. Are we making choices that move us toward the couple we want to be or away from the couple we want to be? So are you taking those committed actions to telling the truth and valuing this relationship above us as individuals? Or are you going to value maybe society above the relationship?
The rebellion.
And the rebellion. So, I mean, like, there's a bigger picture, and I think she chose the bigger picture.
She did.
And I mean, that sucks for him, but also I think sometimes those are good characteristics of leadership.
Yeah.
Which then brings me to one of my bigger points is, I think Acker himself at the end really needs to learn to protect his peace, but also really needs to understand what it is he actually values. Because throughout the book, I felt like he valued being perceived as a leader and people relying on him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he actually knows what it takes to be a good leader.
Yeah.
So this is where I would implement ACT choice points. Love that for him. But basically, a choice point is a tool that you would use in counseling. As a person, you would start to recognize, where can I take committed actions that move me towards values or my ideal person? And where am I taking the actions that move me away from them, where I'm hooked into these thoughts, these feelings and sensations that aren't making me the person that I want to be? So I think for him, he really wants to be a good leader.
Yeah.
And he says that all the time when they're visiting the couple who are also fated mates. And when he's talking to his best friends, like, he wants to take over from his father and make changes to the kingdom and be more equitable, be a good leader, care for his people. That's very important to him. But the entire book, he has taken all of these sensations and inputs and experiences and has been so wrapped up in his own wants and needs in this relationship with Jovi and having someone just unequivocally in love with him, which could stem from his mommy issues and his mom abandoning him and his dad raising him and totally lying to him forever and like feeling like he has no one who trusts him and needing
always
this
stems from parental issues.
Always the parents.
Always the parents. It's where it starts.
It's where it starts. Raise your kids. Love your kids. Don't abandon your kids.
Learn about parenting styles.
Learn about attachment styles. That's all I'm saying. These kids attach. Honestly, most of counseling is just reparenting yourself.
Yeah.
Making the tough choices that weren't always demonstrated for you. And he didn't have those choices demonstrated for him. So he was choosing his idea of love over listening to everyone who said, pause, wait. This is the information you need to be able to do the things you want to do. So I would use that tool with him.
I think that's a good one.
And then, but I think he's also kind of hot-headed.
For sure.
Maybe it's the nose ring. I haven't read a book where someone had a nose ring in a long time.
Me too. And I normally don't find them attractive on men.
Oh no, I'm a sucker for a nose ring. Not a septum though. I don't like septum piercings.
Just like the...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not the Midwestern coming out.
Oh, yeah, you know it. No one has a nose piercing up there.
Oh, we know. I think it very much took on, that saying where it's like the hero would, let you burn to save the world, whereas in like a villain would burn the world to save you.
Oh my gosh, that's tattooed on every Book Curly's brain. Yes.
But I think and I'm not calling, Acker a villain, but it's kind of like I think he'd be willing to sacrifice a lot to end up with Jovi.
He did. He
And
sacrificed so much.
And I think Jovi's like, no, this is a bigger picture. Like, I did this to start a war. Like, I did this to better our future. I did this to better the future of everyone else.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also like, my point is, Acker played himself.
He really did. I think he fell hard and he fell fast.
And he put his own wants and needs above those of his kingdom and his people. And that goes against his values. And I think this betrayal that he feels from Jovi, honestly, I bet you in that next book, he's going to be like, I'm not even mad at you. I'm mad at myself because I let my own values down.
For sure.
That I think is that's why I really like ACT, because he will have to self-reflect to do that and be in the moment and really feel his feelings and realize, like, look, I took actions. Those aren't me. Those were actions I took. Those are feelings I have. All of that is valid. But I'm a person capable of change. And I recognize that I'm not living towards my values. I'm not going towards the leader that I want to be. And so I think there will be a lot of growth.
I'm really hoping there is in book 2 for him.
He's too hot to
not. He is too hot. My heart broke when he was like, was any of it real? I was like,
I know.
I don't know.
I know, but I also love that it was the girl who was the villain. Like, I
did too. I loved that
she betrayed him, because so often it's the other way around. And then we like pity the woman, like, oh, she's such a victim. Nah, brah, she's not a victim. She's a player.
I loved that I also got gaslit in this book.
Hard.
Did I appreciate it at the end? No, but I give props to the author for making me also believe.
Yes, I give props to the author. I think it was a really great twist. I still think
some of it doesn't make sense.
Literary way, there had to be a better bridge or like something where I'm like looking and seeing Jovi. Like, I needed more foreshadowing on Jovi's end, because if you're going to make Jovi the perspective that we're
reading from,
yeah. It could have been like there were other perspectives, right? When Jovi was doing these like having these secret thoughts or things, so that it wasn't all Jovi, because it just doesn't make sense to me that she wouldn't have been thinking about this or like, when was she in communication with Messer and Kai? When was she coordinating all of this? When did she feel bad? Because she had to have felt bad. And there were moments where it's like she kind of did.
Yeah.
But it was so muddled. And that's why I was like, maybe it is dissociative identity disorder. And she's really Jovi and not Bryn at this point. But
I don't know. When she was like Jovi, I feel like she put on the persona so well. Like, she's
lying to herself.
Yeah.
Like,
and there were some parts where I'm like, there's no way that she does not have feelings for Acker now. Like,
oh, she has feelings for Acker.
Yeah.
Because even in that epilogue, she was like, oh no, I see you. I taste the grape. And she was hurt. There was another woman. She was devastated. It's like, what did you expect? He's just a boy.
He's just a fuck boy.
He's just a fuck boy.
A hot one that I would also fall for.
Yeah, he fucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I think it'll be really interesting to see where their romantic relationship is in book 2 and how it plays out for them.
And I think that brings me to my final point. Acker protects his peace.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to protect his peace and learn how to do that. And I think in the kind of epilogue you see that he's kind of done that. Like he's really removed himself from the situation. And I think he's going to be forced to be put back in.
He is.
And I think that's good because I do think, once again, I think he wants to be like this beloved leader who really cares about his people. And I think he took some time to process and reflect and was like, I'm and probably have a lot of self-doubt. Like, I'm not a good leader. I didn't see the signs. I've been betrayed. I don't want to deal with these emotions. And he's going to have to deal with all of that in book 2. But I think he took a lot of time to really process his feelings. I would just say protecting your peace is very hard.
Yes.
Very, very hard. And something that needs to happen. And that's done by setting boundaries.
Yeah. I think physical and emotional boundaries.
Amen. So emotional boundaries, recognizing that others' negativity is often a reflection of their own issues and not your worth. And you need to kind of separate yourself from their actions and words. And physical boundaries, define your personal space and prioritize privacy. And then time boundaries are another one. So prioritize how you spend your time and guard against overcommitment. So low-key, those of us who work a lot, that might be an issue looking at myself.
Couldn't be me.
And then categorizing them into hard versus soft boundaries, right? So these are my hard boundaries. The like, I'm, for lack of a better example, I'm never going to work after 5 p.m. That could be a hard boundary. That might be a really difficult boundary to enforce, but that's like literally you shut your computer, you log out of Outlook, you don't look at your phone ever again until 8 a.m. the next day. Or maybe a better example of a hard boundary in this book that Acker could set. I'm trying to think, because like he can't be like, I'm never going to see Jovi again.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see my sister again. Maybe it's like a hard boundary you can set with yourself is I'm never going to not ask questions. Again, I'm never going to take something at face value.
Yeah.
And that could be, it doesn't always have to be, I'm not going to do something. Maybe I'm always reframing. My boundary is I'm always going to have 2 questions in every situation. What motivates this person? Can I trust this person? What's their motivation and can I trust this person are the 2 questions I'm always going to ask in every situation. That is a hard, firm boundary for me. And if you cannot explain those questions to me, then I'm not going to engage in this.
Yeah. I think trust is going to be a big one.
Oh my gosh. Reestablishing trust is going to be so hard.
I think that's going to be a really tough battle for him.
Okay. So I do have an exercise that you could do to set some boundaries.
I like that one.
So exercise for figuring out boundaries. Imagine that your life as it is right now is no longer possible. Sorry about you. Say you get laid off, you have to move towns, your girlfriend betrays you, starts an entire war, something happens, right? What would you do next? Who would you miss? What would you not miss? Your answers reveal your high-level priorities. So if you were like, okay, next thing I would do is find shelter. That's a big boundary for you. That's important. Who would you miss? I would miss my sister. So maybe that's someone you can't cut out of your life. But if you're like, you know what, I wouldn't miss my dad. Well, that's great because
he sucked.
He's gone. Okay, so then practice setting one hard boundary to protect your high-level priorities by limiting interactions or activities that are not the best use of your time. For example, if your high-level priority is to be less drained after work, cut back on a few energy-draining tasks. So if your Acker and your boundary is to be less drained after ruling a kingdom and leading a war effort, then maybe some of this is setting boundaries where you only think about Jovi for 10 minutes a day because that seems really draining. And that's a hard boundary to enforce. So maybe it's a physical thing. Like I no longer can go to the sites that we shared together.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But when you're working with a client, I also want to point out, like, I'm not going to sit here and make these examples for you.
No.
Like, you have to do this on your own and you have to set those boundaries yourself and decide what's a high priority for you and what's not.
Yeah.
And so I also want to stress when we're talking about the male leads and the characters in books, they can't engage with us and tell us these things. So we have to think of them. But when we're working with clients, the client has to engage with us and tell us, this is my boundary. This is what's important to me. And I'm going to believe you because I trust you. I trust that you're not lying to me. And that's counseling. I trust you that you go and do the work. And I'm going to be like, let's go.
Cheering you on the side.
Exactly. So the next, think about your aspirations. Are there soft boundaries you can set to feel more productive, creative, and rested at work or at home? Test them out. So soft boundaries like, I'm going to try and from 6 to 7, 3 nights a week, write 100 words. That's a soft boundary. It's just kind of like setting a goal and I'm going to try and do it, which means I'm not going to schedule things during that time. I'm not going to have friends over during that time. But if it happens, it's not the end of the world. It's something I can deal with. Whereas hard boundaries, it's a big deal. And then just pay attention to the behavioral changes, see how you feel, assess which boundaries do you want to stick with and which ones you need to adjust, right? Because not everything is going to stay the same. Things change, you adjust. Behaviors change, you adjust. So maybe this works for you for years and then suddenly it stops working. We'll adjust. Other things that I think Acker will do to help with setting some boundaries and kind of protecting his peace, practicing that self-care.
I hate that word, but yes.
I think you can kind of see he might be doing that in the epilogue.
I was going to say towards the end, but I think it's really important him going into book 2, like really putting his people's needs and his needs before his love and relationship with Jovi.
Yeah, I think when we say self-care too, it's not just thinking about yourself because yourself is within the context of the roles in society you exist in. And so sometimes it is self-care to put others' needs above yours. So self-care could be, really sitting down and journaling out how you feel about this betrayal so that you can get that out and process so that you can go and spend the rest of your day deciding, okay, do we need to raise taxes to fund this war?
Yeah.
Do I need to make sure that there's sustainable living and clean water for my people? And how do I organize and do that? So self-care just allows you to be able to function. So what are the things that you can do to allow you to function at your best ability during the day and in your roles and in the context of the society you live in, not just get through the day.
Yeah.
Right. So 8 hours of sleep or 6 to 8 hours of sleep with good quality sleep, engaging in things that overflow your cup or fill your cup up, if you will. For us, we have our creative pursuits that, at least for me, they really invigorate me so that I'm able to go to my job and be like, I do have to book another pickleball court. Tell me how you feel. What do you think Acker should do to practice self-care?
I think he seems hot-headed, so I feel like a way for him to do self-care is like to get out your frustration in other aspects. And so journaling works for some people and then it doesn't work for everyone.
It does not work for me. I don't
It
journal.
doesn't, As a counselor, I also don't journal.
It's not a thing for
I
me.
was recommended to, because I believe I had a lot of frustration and a lot of anger towards a lot of things in my own life, which I think Acker also does, now kind of his world turned upside down. In a matter of almost months. I don't even know if it was months.
Honestly, the timeline on this was so fast.
It was really fast.
It was so fast. That's a whole other thing with romance books. They're so fast.
They're so fast.
Next episode, we're going to be doing a book, and that's one of my, why is the timeline so fast?
I agree. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But
Stay tuned for next week's episode.
I think other ways to get out your frustration is like physical activities. And so for me, I was recommended like kickboxing or like something physical where you're getting out your frustration, but in a healthy way. And so I think he could really benefit from like sparring, with, his soldiers that he already works with, or like sparring with his, but I think physical activity could be something really useful for him. And I think it's something that he honestly enjoys from like the amount of people I feel like he beat up and killed throughout the book. I was like, sorry, I think you like this a little too much.
Honestly, I think he should try yoga.
That would be a good one too.
I don't know if they have yoga in this universe, but
I think
whatever
that would be a good one.
Version of that they have, because I think the sparring gets a lot. It tires him out, which is important. But I think he also needs that kind of mindful movement with it. I also don't like yoga. Like these are suggestions that not me as a person would do, because I have tried them, and for me they don't work, because I like hot cycling. Like I like indoor hot cycling. And that's my thing. But I think he needs something that really is just for him.
I agree. I think he needs to pick up like a nice calming hobby. Whether it's like knitting or
writing letters to his best friend on the front lines. Maybe art. He could be painting.
I feel like he could do
painting.
art. But I think something mindful, like you said, that's kind of like
watercolors.
Really, I think, sit in what's going on and like processing it, but being able to do it in a way where like, almost like, like children, like you let them color and kind of like let them speak and go at their own pace. I think he could benefit from, not that he's a kid, but
he is in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was really sheltered from his dad and wasn't like, he had to witness a lot of adult things, from war and the loss of his mom, but he was never given, I think, almost like the respect of being an adult.
Yeah.
He was asked to do adult things, but not trusted to be a responsible adult. And so I think he's really caught in that very young adult phase. So I think emotionally he is kind of a child still.
Yeah.
And so doing that, like coloring, watercolors, painting, running, yoga, journaling, whatever it is, that just allows him to process and be in a moment calmly by himself, I think will be very important, because it teaches him how to stop.
Yeah.
How to not just react to things, because I think this whole book is just a big Acker reaction, and it's blown up in his face now.
Yeah, all of it was out of reaction. I mean, the moment he saw her.
Not once did he process.
No. It was go, go, go after that.
And so many people were like, chill.
Take a second.
Yeah. So I think that's important for him, is he really needs to learn some mindfulness activities as part of his self-care plan, and set boundaries with those. So I think we covered a lot. We gave you a synopsis. We told you our thoughts and our feelings, how we would counsel, excuse me.
Not cancel.
Yeah, no, I don't know. We'll get how we would counsel Acker, and just through acceptance and commitment therapy. And I think given some mindfulness strategies, some choice points, or how to utilize choice points in your own life, how to set boundaries in your own life. But really, this is the heart of why we do this. Is he hot, or is it trauma?
Can I say both?
Yes.
It's definitely trauma, but he's also really hot.
I think he's hot and he has trauma. Initially, there we go. I was really annoyed with him as a character, because I think he's way too overprotective, way too hot-headed.
Yeah.
way too immature. Like, I think he's very immature, but also he's hot. Like, I can't describe, like, you read the book and you're like, dang, that would work on me.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that protectiveness, I would fold.
And he's never experienced real consequences for his actions until now. So I'm also like, he's probably going to get hotter his personality is probably going to become better.
I hope he has a lot of character growth, because if he does,
watch out. Watch out.
I'm a fold.
He's trauma. But I will say, I wouldn't want my friend to date him. Looking at you.
I was literally about to say I would date him.
I know you would. I was like, he's really attractive. He is not emotionally mature enough to be a good boyfriend.
No.
I think he would try. But as you've read in this book, like he's in this for himself, not necessarily for the relationship. He just wants the relationship. So I think there's a lot of me. Mm-hmm. Not a good boyfriend. Would not recommend my friend dating him. But he's hot.
But he's hot,
yeah. So my flag rating for all y'all out there, I give it 4 red flags. So interesting, unique, big trouble. If you're reading this book, you're going to be feeling things. And if you want to feel things, this one's for you. So it's a good read, but this character's a red flag.
Yeah, I also give it 4 red flags. Unfortunately, again, he's really hot.
He's so hot.
He's so hot. But
this is why we have to do this.
So much.
Do not date this guy.
He has a lot of growth ahead of him. And I hope he gets to the point that he needs to be at.
So if you are out there and you're like, but this sounds just like my crush, and I read this and I want to date a guy just like this, don't do it.
No, we don't.
Let him grow. Let him grow.
We date mature, emotionally available men.
Let him go. Let him grow. And if he changes, then you can date him because he is hot. But we date mature, emotionally available men. All right. Stay reading.
Stay reading.